Hi friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Great Ace Attorney Adventures, where I have a goal of finishing this case today. Now, obviously for you guys, it'll be over the course of a few days, but maybe like a few weeks. Well, the case itself would last a few weeks, but this part of it that I'm trying to finish in the day, maybe be like a week and a half. But anyway, we're doing great. I'm not concerned at all. This is working so well. We were doing some, oops, I saved it again. We were doing some stereoscopic stuff, and we're gonna see what comes of our new learnings. Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand. Yeah, you will. I love how nervous they look. They're just a bunch of petty thieves. And probably stupid at that, and they cause such a problem for Sholmes. I presume you heard the defense counsel summation examination. Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov. I did. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Court, blimey! It's going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave me the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windbanks. However, that was a lie. You brothers. God blimey! On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. You never done nothing of the sort. How you figure that out? You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. Hui. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gov. We hear ya. We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll preach. Peach? Whoops. Well, Peach. The whole truth. We did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshots, see? It made us both jump and all that stuff went flying. It didn't give me a fright. We was thinking the shooter would come out the door and get us next. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarpered. Straight into in the black. In the black, wow. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never had a chance, did we? So you admit to the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Winterbank's countertop on the night in question. Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. Wait, you say we hardly sound like roughs at all? We don't, Nash. We don't. Can't you make us sound a bit more cutthroat? Can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Winterbanks that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it. No such thing as coincidence. Hold it! Pressing everything. If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good. Well said, Ringo, me old China. we'd only land ourselves in even more trouble. And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourself in even more trouble. Well, that's rotten luck. Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. We're like we tied the place up. Sorry.
Hold it!
So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked all those things off the counter? Well, it shocked one of us much, yeah. This bag of nerves leads them to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, right by me. My dead granny would have woken up with that bang. Big bruv here screamed like a bloomin' baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled up in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked over the scales on the floor. You've really mastered working quietly, then. What a racket. My granny would have been scared back into her grave and clatter like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, BAM! You have something to say there,
Excuse me.
Inspector? Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels. No, something to add about their testimony. You seem to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother mentioning it, only. Well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellows up to the yard for questioning last night. And the statement they gave also led to different stories to what they're saying now. Did it? You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have, Gov, might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it. Granted, you told me a minor detail, but still. Can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them. Easy, easy. We'll get it right this time. That's it, yep. It's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details you've miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right you are, Gov. Voice yelling out, "Give me that gun."
Hold it!
So, in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gov, we did. Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun! Kind of thing. A career in acting tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course we could. On the other side of the door behind the counter it was. In the storeroom, where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Winterbank. On my granny's life, of course it was. On his granny's life, of course it was. So that would mean that you both knew Mr. Winterbank and the sound of his voice. So that would mean What? What, Nash? What? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel, indeed it would. Nah, we didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to deny what that bloke and all the fancy cobblers giving us the evil eye? If you value your lives, you ensure your testimony is accurate and true. On me Granny's life it is. On Granny's life it must be. It's a good job his Granny's dead. To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then heard the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. You make it sound like we were clumsy. He's thinking of something over there. Don't forget we tied it up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I sees it, Hook, what owned the place, was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. Wait, what? The one who owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl.
Hold it!
You're saying that Mr. Windibank had a gun in his hands? Oh yeah, bet that was a sight, eh? Them two waving them guns at each other. Must have gotten pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted out, we heard the geezer say, if you don't want to get shot. He was the one who said that. Didn't really sound like a mean about it. More of an empty threat, you could say. Mr. Windibank was known to keep a revolver in his shop counter at all times. He would say that to protect the articles in his keeping. He'd readily put a bullet in someone's head if required. And that someone would be himself, of course. Good grief, extraordinary devotion indeed, if a lot really misguided. Well, it certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only the person who was going to shoot beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper. Bet he wished he'd squeezed the Bet he wished he'd squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun." It was directly after those words that he heard the gunshot. More or less the same time, Gov. Give me that gun. Bam. Kind of thing. Yeah, the way they're acting it out is making it career in acting very tragically missed. Then we heard the sound sounding like hitting the deck. Before everything went dead quiet. After that, we done slapdash tidying the place up. Okay, yeah, no, there's a lot wrong with it.
Objection!
The way they're acting it also seems off. You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Dev. You got the picture. He has, Nash, he has, no question. And yet the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windibank was not in possession of a firearm in any description.
Objection!
You surprise me. Does defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? I was thinking about how that it doesn't really help us, but it might help us get to the bottom of things. Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel. Yeah, that's right. Too right, Nash, too right. The old geezer could have been about to turn the tables on the girl, eh? Hardly likely. No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel. And heed my earlier warning, witnesses. I still don't like how they're acting it out, though. Skulkin's never skulkin'.
Hold it!
Okay. Carry on pressing everything, I guess. So you didn't try to open the storeroom door, then? Not in your life. It went deathly quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up in me. But anyway, the door was locked, wasn't it? No way that was opening. Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe. It was, Gov, it was. From the inside. Right, so we had no way to know what was going on in there, did we? Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like through the keyhole or spy hole, perhaps? Don't ring no bells, don't light no lights. We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. Still cutting our teeth on this game, see? But one day, we'll really cut the mustard. Please, cut it out. But as we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there unconscious with a gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? That's right, Gov, that's right. Couldn't have you knew we wanted to. Oops. Nothing to contradict yet.
Hold it!
Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, yeah, we was a bit hasty there. We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up. If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss, good advice. Truth be told, mine was totally blank. Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss. After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy at Copper's Summit, so they clapped the darbies on us like a winkin'. And after you've been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah. But listen, that proves it, doesn't it? Eh?
Hold it!
And why should we believe that? What? What, because it's true, isn't it? The place was totally empty when we went in. At that time, the victim was already in the store, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun in his head. In other words, in the night in question, these two witnesses, in fact, you laid eyes upon the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Winterbeck. Correct. Got it, mister. Down to a T. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Winterbank? Is that really true, I wonder? That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony? What is it, Reno? You look very fierce. Could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired. Thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'd probably laugh. But I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something. Something important. It's nothing more than a feeling, though. I've no proof to support it. No, feelings can be very logical at times. Sorry. People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can take it all in, and your brain will quietly analyze it and come up with a feeling like you described. You've concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. This is the problem. I don't know how to show it, though.
Hold it!
It might be this part. Because they're acting it out here. They act it out here, right? Yeah. Because they acted it out there, it's trying to show us that's the problem.
Objection!
So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winterbank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture. He has, Nash. He has. No question. And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winterbank was not holding a firearm of any description. Oh, that's what you decided to... Okay, sure. That also works. Hey, what? I mean, he wanted evidence for it. Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There can be no question. The victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Winterbank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hands. Yeah, that mole toller used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Kind of thing. I keep missing. Does he say... Oh, no, he doesn't. I thought the other one was... Because he said, oh, it happens at the same time. Whenever he said, give me that gun, and if you don't want shot.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are, right there. Eh? If the crime had taken place as you so colorfully described in your testimony... Oh, right. That is what he had to say, because I can't get to the whole shot in the back yet. Now I'm getting the shot to the back yet. It would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Goodness, are you sure, counsel? You intrigue me, my good friend. But let's see some evidence to support your claim. I just provided it. Fine. Do you want the autopsy report? Is that what you want? What do you want, game?
Take that!
According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of, give me that gun, followed by the gunshot. Indeed, with two events happening almost simultaneously, so I've been led to believe. Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that the moment of the death, at the moment of death, the victim and its attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. Ah. So as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. The fact that he's saying Mr. and Mrs. was making me keep saying Mr. and Mrs. but it's the God's honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When he was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. We saw it with our unbleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Winterbank holding a gun. Something like that might have slipped out. Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question they actually saw, with their own eyes, the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Nash, Order! Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, we weren't supposed to, It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear what false witness would be the death of you. Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies? Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, we. Cut it out, Nash. Cut it out. If we blab now, you know what it'll do to us. He? Who are they talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There's no other option available to you. Come on, the game's up. But I'll have all our guts for garters. In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place. Well, do we have to? On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and he flew at us like it was possessed. I thought we'd had it. For an old geezer that book was strong as an ox, he checked me over the counter. I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged me through that door and into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's what it happened, I swear. Wait, what? So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the store, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop? Well, yeah, sorry. Well, we find ourselves in an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. But honest, Governor, this time, Nash, this time, we ain't got nothing nor died. Very well, counsel for the defense. You may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for.
Hold it!
When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Winbank? Who else? Sorry, I mean that's right. We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that. Back room being the pawnbroker's storeroom. Yeah, that must be where he popped from. Only place he could have been. So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises. Which means Ginny must have been in there at that point as well. That doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Mr. Windermere into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? Oh, I don't know. Did you see the accused at that time? What? The Molitor? Couldn't tell you. No way, Cobber. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it. So he ran at them.
Hold it!
You mentioned Mr. Winderbank shouted those words in your previous testimony, too. However, you claimed that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, did we? Yes. But the truth is he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Oh, well, yeah. Was the victim Mr. Winderbank wielding a gun at the time? Was he ever? Blimey lummy, a great ugly barrel we had. Went straight at me frontispiece. So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Winderbank with a gun at that time, is that right? It is, Gov, it is. Spot on. And all of a sudden, he came at us, he did. Okay, so he had the gun after Gina led him into the storeroom with it. So he must have gotten it back from her at some point. It was Bedlam. Didn't know who was going for who. clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought we had it. I mean... He threw him over the counter? Yes, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony, too. Well, yeah, of course we did. He knocked over a load of books, candlestick, and some skull whatnot. I got tangled in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked the scales on the floor. So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter. Well, Big Bruv here went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. And the old geezer pinned him. You did, Nash, you did. And you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the bomb was raised at the local police station via secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There's a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right, when the brothers fled the scene and back into the street. They ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they? Poor Mr. Windibank. He did everything he could to protect his shop.
Hold it!
Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windibank? No, never. I was just, you know... looking out for me, bruv, weren't I? He was being flattened over it. By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him, is that it? Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away and ran off for the shore and shut himself in. Something about that last remark. Door. The fact that he would have had his back to him. Something that doesn't quite ring true. I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran away into the storeroom. What? Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him, with a gun. Ah, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again? I have no idea, but that is strange, isn't it? So inconsistencies could prove significant. Should make a mental note of it. But the point is, me and my bruv here. That's right, Nash. That's right. Me and my bruv here. Why was he having a problem with this?
Hold it!
You say you had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went to shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was, from the inside. We know it was, because we tried to open it. But it's a decent door down, wasn't good and strong, wouldn't budge an inch. Soon the end of the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom of the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused Miss Gina Lestrade. Would appear so. What say you to that, counsel? I don't know. Is there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Windibank? Sure. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. What? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you'd encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of the trial changed completely. It did. What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Windibank, and it's the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts, so pray, what other possible answer to the question who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect of 2 conundrums. 2, my lord. Twice as many chances to be right, maybe? Indeed. Namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord. I can do that. Are you alright, Bruno? I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. So the guy's back was turned when he ran into the storeroom. So I'm thinking that the brothers were here and shot him as he was running in the storeroom.
Take that!
The defense believes the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where is the victim at the time? He would have had to be already somewhat in the storeroom. Did the culprit close the door behind him?
Take that!
The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Windibank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired? So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom? Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony... See? If Mr. Windibank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. Ah. It was at precisely that moment, when the victim was fleeing for his life, that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Poor man. Shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body on an upward trajectory. Oh, thank you for explaining that. I thought you were just accusing the shorter of the brothers. So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windibank.
Objection!
I am sure my learned friend can't have forgotten. The storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. You also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock. But... what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there's someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so? Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the store. In which case, you shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside. Maybe Gina to protect herself? After seeing the person fall dead? Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room. For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I am inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel? Yes, that's a tricky one, that, isn't it? Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? It does? Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Yep. Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windibank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Windibank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. If your theory is correct, then that would leave the accused in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by a bullet, Mr. Windibank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windibank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't, Gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one.
Objection!
You shot Sholmes! That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windibank's murder. Well, where does this leave us? Do you mean to say that it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all? I should have known it was those three brothers. They look so shady as the dense forest. Three again. That was amazing, Runo! All the members of the jury seem to be firmly in your side now. I know, first time ever. And probably the last. Well, I think we've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict if not. An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing. They always laugh. The criminals and the prosecutors. You find the situation amusing, Lord Fancies. I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive. Oh no, please, take your time. I dare say. Such chicanery? Sure. Is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. What words are you saying? What? Yes, my thoughts exactly. The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly, credibly, cannot and will not stand. Because you see, it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? I say, Lord Fancies, might be an idea to explain this bully conjuring trick, or whatever it is the troops in the ground, The fatal flaw in my learned friend's arguments is really very simple to understand. Are you gonna drink that wine ever? Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. By George, count bullets. Oh dear. He noticed then. Huh? What's everyone talking about? Counsel. Yes, sir? Oh boy. The eyes. Tell the court, how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime? Two. 2 bullets. Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Sholmes on the arrival of the scene. Which of the quotes are on, Detective? Indeed, the defense presents a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appeared to have passed through the body to strike the calendar. Which, again, I'm wondering how, from that angle... Oh, maybe it was because it was the shorter one that hit him. The Lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know that there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. A revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Winterbank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago. These 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness. I think you'll find that if a single bullet was fired from the brothers' gun and hit Mr. Sholmes, it means Winterbank was not shot by the same gun. Stop. Only 1 bullet. Stop. Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. So that's not what happened then? Order, order, order! Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. Lord Van Zeeks. But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Jean Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can, regrettably, no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person on the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She is past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond a doubt in this print, which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession 1 more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present. What? Why? That disc. That music box disc. McGilda's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Winterbank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly does not belong to her, and with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, by brute force and brazen impudence. Good gracious! Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed. No crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact at its peril. I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel. As a grim testament to the defense. Lord Van Zeeks, Inspector Gregson? What? Yes, Inspector. We had a meeting yesterday at the Yard of some prosecution service, and, I think it was agreed that disc wouldn't be used as evidence. What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all. I'm unaware of any such meeting. But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent. Inspector, I am the prosecutor and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted, thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. indeed, bailiff. Prosecution has established the accused's motives, opportunity, and baseness of character. We should play that colorful blood game on that thing, since we have blood on there. There's nothing more to add. Since we know whose blood it is, maybe we can see what color it happens. Label another color, who knows. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. I wonder if we can do that now. Can we do that now? Oh, Rena, look! This is blood! Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, it feels like I might have noticed that before. It's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Reno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash. Oh, that is a color we've seen before. Oh, a lovely bright shade again. Wait, that color. Hold on, wasn't the same color that was on the calendar? See, the angle, man. I'm so confused. I thought, because we would have thought that was Sholmes's blood, but that's not Sholmes's blood. What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Okay. And we know whose blood that is. Or is it gonna make us... Yeah. Which means... But why? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, for all of 5 minutes. Oh dear. It wasn't even for 5 minutes, Reno. My lord. Wonder if I might say something at this point? Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog up to now, truth be told. But all of a sudden... The answer's bally obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Oh boy, not again. Oh no. Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Oh boy.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
The guy using his head instead of his fist. We have a consensus among the jury, it seems. You have eliminated the impossible. What remains must be the truth. That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us? Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank. That's beyond any doubt. Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and your other juries ready? Daredevil Squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I said. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. Never imagined that simple operation would cause such grief. Are we still talking about the operation with the scalpel again? Be accused attempted a theft the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead. I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. Okay. It would seem there's little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well be hoodwinked. Well, no more. The whole courtroom is turning against me. It's not fair, Iris. That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done some things she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer. Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out eventually. It's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. I feel like I'm gonna have to come back to this once I prove something with other people. I am concerned about this guy, though. What exactly are you talking about?
Hold it!
Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with the trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here. Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it has nothing to do with this trial, to be honest. Huh? I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think? I almost don't want to ask, but the surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on... What was the fellow's name now? Hairlick? No. Hairlock? No. Hairlock? Herlock Sholmes, by any chance? Yes, good lord! It was Hairlock fellow. What? You're the surgeon who operated on Mr. Sholmes. Conflict of interest. I don't think this jury is randomly decided at all. That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It's fairly major up, I can tell you. This is crazy. Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They say he had been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw my hands and just stitch the fellow back up. I'm sorry, what? I hate to say the obvious, but... Yes. Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting. The counsel for the defense is correct. That's clearly shown in the photographic print. The bullet had the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and launched into the shop wall with the calendars hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally. Oh. Sorry, I don't know why I thought the judge was saying all that. Ah! Who do you think I am, son? Well, juror number 4 is about the best I could do. As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over. Like a pancake. Are you saying you checked his back? Of course I did. And there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all. What? That's the point! The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I set about slicing him up. So none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve this mystery? It's almost as much of a mystery as how the jury was put together. Oh! Well... You're an expert.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. Oh, a ballistics expert! Pit pitting. Pit. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulking brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction of the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen a very similar situation in Motherland. He can pronounce the V of his name, but not the V. That's probably could have been named differently. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along Mountain Road in freezing cold. Golly. The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It's very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles, and they were on dog sleds. Mental notes, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind and fell down in snow. And this situation is very similar to what I hear today from Doctor. I could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of, how you say, exit wound. Where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well, if it never hit you, why'd you fall down? Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from the lump of ice and pierced my body. I made deep wound that looked just like bullet wound. Good gracious. Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullets. So you saying that Sholmes wasn't shot? But that doesn't answer the question at all. The shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country. Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. Bruno, where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach, sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations. Wait, I'm sorry. What? Really? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing? Well, fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember. If I may. Lord Van Zeeks? While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in this antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry. As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound. Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been my safekeeping along with all the other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Bring it in! Very well. While extremely unconventional during the summation examination, though the summation examination is also unconventional, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Hurlock... blah, 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 blah. Bring forth Mr. Hurlock Sholmes' pouch. So maybe the glass went in him, like he was talking about the ice going in him? If there was a wound? Let's see. Oh, yep, definitely something there. This is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes the night in question, is it? Look at that. One of the vials is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the vial exploded. Exploded? So that night, the bullet from the Skulking Brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch. And it was the glass vial exploding that caused the fella's injury. This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. Can we take a look at that evidence, please, and see if we can find a bullet in there? a delightfully complex aroma. Oh well, it would appear that one mystery has been solved at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. Let me look at it! The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered. But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man. Ah, thank you very much. Glad I could help. Let me look at that. To do its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence. Scruffy? Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy. Scruffy detective. Hey. The pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing around the waist at the time of the shooting. One of the glass files is smashed, and there are scorch marks around it. Let's look at it. Oh yeah, that looks terrible, man. Exploded. There's gotta be a bullet in there, right? It's really scorched badly just here. Oh, the strap is broken, look. This must be where the bullet hit then. Let me see. What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken vial was. Do you see? Ah, that's... the Skulkin Brothers' bullet! What a stroke of luck it hit this pouch. That is an amazing discovery. What this means is... there were 3 bullets fired at Windibanks that night. We found exactly what the juror was talking about! The 3rd bullet! It's time to press that juror again, I think. The 3rd bullet. So, okay, so he was shot, but he wasn't injured by a bullet. It was glass. Now, summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion. Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, this is a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue. You can't afford to overlook anything here, Moonsuke. There's still a way to turn this around somehow, I'm sure of it. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although... yes? Sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose... if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. A 3rd bullet somewhere in the scene. Could that be possible? I can prove it. Allow me to show you, then, the 3rd bullet.
Take that!
By name. Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windibank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
Hey, you're not supposed to talk to us. What is this new trickery Nippy's conjuring? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch. What? This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to hospital, and since then it has been touched by no one. Did you mean to say? The shot fired by the Skulkin Brothers that night. Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in his photographic print. He always knew it was too high. Ah! 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted to the court record as evidence. Yes, that of Mr. Windibank and that belonging to the Skulkin Brothers. An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns received from the crime scene, recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Order, order, order! While the summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case is against the defendant. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As it is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter! What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. Witnesses? Governor? Were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination? We was, Governor, we was. Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question. A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that? Make of it, Gov? I don't make nothing of nothing if I can help it. Is it one of yours? Go blimey, Gov, go blimey, not a chance. In that case, did you have an accomplice? What? Never! The Skulking Brothers work alone! It's just the 2 of us, that's our trademark! How soon we forget poor Sulky. Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? That's Zed Scratcher. Counsel for the defense. Yes? I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The 3rd bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came. Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this 3rd bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. Yeah. On the night at Windibank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a 3rd man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of their accomplice. I always had trouble saying that word. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present, someone carrying a gun.
Objection!
An accomplice, you say? Pig's word. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time, there's been not a murmur of a 3rd man if this apparently wraith-like being exists. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence, that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of the spurious character. The Skulkins are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding? Well, counsel, I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal the person's identity, even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is ready to present answers. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands. So, Anthony's friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference. In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present the evidence without delay. on the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene? Okay. We have the blood. I think it's the blood.
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio. By Jove, the portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of those blood samples proves the presence of this third intruder. Well, which one is it? It's this one.
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a bloodstain, my lord. A bloodstain? Green blood. Curious even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some inhuman creature? It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. By the great detective! New invention, stop. Not yet appeared in stories. Stop. It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color. Different elements of people's blood? Yes. Everyone's blood is slightly different, you see. Because it's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole extra dimension in looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom. Stop. Very exciting. Stop. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windibank. Ah, a striking blue. Yes, so you see the green color of this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop. Now hold fire there, young man. Could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it? No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windibank was killed. By golly. Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day. And whose blood is it? Well, the skulking brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. Can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder?
Take that!
The man's name is Eggert Benedict. Eggert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel? He paid a visit to Windibank's pawnbrokery on the afternoon before the incident took place. The accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc. Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked him to beg for a print showing the fellow. Taken from one of his red-handed recorded Gubbins' whatever that says. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windibank that morning. And you claim this man was the brother's accomplice? Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Never seen the geezer before in my life. On my life, Gov, on my life. Never seen him. Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. But sure, should propose my learned McMinney's friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of this alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can. Then show us the evidence! I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom. Ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel? Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. We're going to come back to this.
Take that!
That proof is right here, in this portfolio. Good gracious, counsel, does that portfolio contain the answers to every question posed? I see you share my interest in colored liquids. But enough. The court demands to see further evidence. Which blood sample proves the man you identified was the one shot by the third bullet at the scene of the crime?
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windibanks. Which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no? That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred. Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions caused Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now. Goodness, a bloodstain, is it? My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom. Using my trusty fogger gun. Yes, and we added the results to this portfolio. I say, it's green. It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was in Windibanks earlier that day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night. So there was someone else there. Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets. Wait, what are you talking about? It's boiling in here. My lord, it's the opinion of the defense that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify. It certainly seems that we can ill afford to remove his apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of the law. Herlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. Protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastic persona in the highest court in the land. Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? As to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world would turn the same color. Well... And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Is he right? Mr. Sholmes... I don't know. I mean, he's a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that. I missed. It's Mr. Sholmes' concoction, a load of rubbish. Okay. I knew knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have? I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination? Ah. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it? Good grief. What did you just say, young girl? And in summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now. Yes, she's right. You've quite the devious mind. It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Runo. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with. Iris Wilson, sharpshooter. After that shrewd criticism of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final readings of this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
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 Not guilty.
Well, that's all we needed. Four to two. 2 called guilty and 4 called not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection!
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. I'm sorry, Lord Vanzeeks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very recently requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. What? The name the gentleman gave for himself, Egbert Benedict, is quite clearly false. I don't believe it. Because when I managed to prove the man was there that night, wasn't he taken in because didn't he pull a gun on us? He was taken in for questioning, surely. Could I say something? Who was that, please? Who spoke? It was me, my lord. Juror number 5. What have you to say, madam? If possible, Inspector. Me, ma'am. I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman is shown? Right, yes, this one, you mean. Of Mr. Benedict. Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5, you don't mean to say you know this man. Yes, I know him. What? No. Good gracious! The jury, man. Order, order, order. Juror number 5, how on earth? I am a communications officer. Stop. As we can clearly see, the gentleman in the photograph is... Stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop. Her eyes are shining. A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away in the telegraph. Stop. This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right. I suppose we all imagine the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out he has a respectable job by day whenever he gets up to at night. Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong. If the gentleman at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Deeks, if you please. Yes, my lord. Make the necessary arrangements with all haste. As your lordship bids. The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson. Yes, my lord. I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come by to my chambers during the recess. Yes, sir, my lord. Very well. The court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m. A break for lunch. Well, we're hearing some interesting things here, aren't we? As puzzle pieces start falling slowly into place. Nice to know that, Sholmes wasn't shot, I guess. I wonder if the, the chemical did any harm to him. Apparently it exploded, so... that was the thing. Iris did say it was dangerous chemicals. Anyway, we're moving right along in the case here, learning new things about the people around and the suspects to be. I guess we'll find out what Mr. Benedict, or whatever his name was really up to, and whether he was in fact there and has anything to do with this case. We will find that out next time, and I will talk to you guys then.